Well, Nick Collier here, and today we're going to take this whole thing to the next step, of course. And the next step, we've got this thing bolted down pretty tight, well, very tight. And the next step is to put the backing plate in place, and we're going to drill 6 holes on each side into the side plates, and we will. Let's see. Then once we get the holes drilled, then I think we're going to put a little circular slot in this part right here, so that the cable can come up through the wheel here and go straight into the sewer pipe. So we're going to set that up, and I think what we want to do first is figure out what we're doing with the bolt holes. And we'll start out, let's get another position for you, because that's kind of a distance away. Okay, we're going to do 7 holes, and the first one will go down here, and then we move over 1.5 inches, 1.5 inches, 1.5 inches, and so on until we get to the other end. But what we're going to do first, before we do anything, is we're going to reset this and drill our first hole. With the plate in place. So what we're going to end up with is a hole through the plate about where we want it to be. And this is going to be our bottom or our top. We'll make this the bottom. So it's going to square up on those lines there. And we're going to square it up this way. So we've got 12.5. No, we've got 14 by 14. And I think we can just, no, we've got 14 by 12.5. That's perfect. Okay, so we just, we've got about 3 inches there and about 5 inches there. So let's come this way a bit. And we're sitting at 3.5 and a little over 3.5, so we'll come that way a little bit more. An 1/8 under. Let's use the calipers. Well, we can't really. Sure we can. There we go. Okay, that's pretty close. Alright, I think that's going to give us what we want. Now, square it up with the surface of the wheel. There we go. I think we're going to have to drop this down a little bit more. That should do the trick. Alright, we gotta do a pilot hole. This should do. And it's about as low as my table can go, so I can't use my drill head. So I'm having to use a series of collets, which, you know, it works. Just have to mess with it a little bit more. And I don't really care where we're at here. All I want to know is that the hole is going to go down, and then we're going to drill the hole, tap it, and get it to the right size, and then put our bolt in, and we'll have a single bolt where we want it. Then we'll go over to the far side and do the same thing, and make sure it's all squared up before we do that, and then we'll have everything squared up. Then we can just drill the rest of our holes. But for right now, we're just going to drill this one hole. Okay, we've got our first hole. Let's just see how deep it is. Make sure we've gone deep enough. Yeah, plenty deep. Okay, just about right. All right, so now we could come in and thread this and expand the hole on the plate itself to fit the bolt. Of course, right now it's set for the threads. So we'll expand the hole, and then we'll taper this hole so that it goes into the right place. Maybe we won't taper the hole for the moment. We'll just do all of that at the last minute. But we'll get the bolt to lock down and to hold this plate in place so we can drill the rest of the holes. So let's take apart our drill bit. And go find a tap. Okay, we're going to run our tap down just a little bit and then stop it. Squirt a little bit. Okay, that was just real a little bit. But it got us a good start. All right. And that got us a nice straight tap. Put a little handle on this baby and just take her on down. I think I'm going to want a bigger handle. Just a little more leverage. Okay, we're going to drill a hole in the opposite side to stabilize this plate so we can continue drilling. Well, good morning, Nick Collier here, and we are getting ready to continue on this sewer, what did I call it? Sewer something project. We've cut 2 holes in the end to square up this table, or this plate, and to get it square on the wheel housing. Now we're going to come in, and I've already cut pilot holes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pilot holes, and now we're over on the other side. We're gonna drill our pilot holes for the other side. Then we're going to come back in and drill a little bit larger holes all the way in, and then a little bit larger and a little bit larger until we get to 27/64, I believe, which is the size that allows us to go in and thread the wheel housing. And then we come back, oversize our holes here on the plate so that the bolt slides through here, screws into the wheel housing, and then we, of course, I don't know if you can see it. Let me see if we can get you down there. You can't see a thing, can you? Okay, let's see here. We're gonna shift you around. We got the 2 bolt holes here, and then what I'm going to do is countersink these so that the head of the bolt is flush with the backing plate. So we got about I don't know, 4 different drilling operations, and that's probably going to take most of the next couple of hours. So hang in there with me. We'll have some fun. So first thing we want to do is we're going to take this center drill over 1 inch 833 thousandths to the next index, and then do that again, and then do that again, and so on and so forth until we get our 6 holes drilled. And we are in ABS mode, so we're going to go over to INC mode, and we are going to even us out to 0. Now we can just come back 1 inch, 833 thousandths to 31 to 33. We'll crank up the mill and drill our hole. So we've got all our small holes drilled, and now we're going to come back in with a 29 or 27/64, which is our tap size, and take that down and end up with a ton of scrap. So we're going to turn the vacuum cleaner back on and hang in there. Hey, Nick Collier here, and we're still working on this project here. We've drilled our holes, and I've gone in and tapped many of them. You know, I basically started the tap, you know, and the battery went dead on me, so we missed a bit. I basically went in and started the tap with the mill, and now I'm going back to kind of finish the hole, except these holes are really beefy, and I think what I have to do, because I want to go all the way down to the bottom of the tap, and I just don't have enough leverage here, so I'm going to get my big guns out, and we'll use that. This should do the trick. What do you think? So because there's so much, it's so tight, we're just doing like a quarter of a turn at a time, maybe not even that much, and just cranking it in until we get to the bottom. But doing a lot of backup. These are not one of those speed taps that you can use and just crank away. This is a, you know, one of those Craftsman taps that takes forever. But we're doing it. That's what counts. Meantime, while we're waiting for the compressor to crank up, I've gone in and drilled these holes and countersunk them, and they're all ready to bolt right in as soon as we get all the threads done. Then what we have to do is come in and make a U channel right here, and then come in and round off our edges just a little bit, just to kind of keep from cutting anybody when they handle it. And this plate will be done. Bolt this to the rest of the body, and this part here pretty much done until we get the other part from the manufacturer, which is the two ram hydraulic presses. So let's see if we get enough pressure now to blow this out. Ah, yes. Slide this baby back in. Okay, so we got our table all cleaned off, and we're ready to go on to the next part of this little operation, and that is to cut a slot in here and for the cable. Oh, what do we got here? Total is 12 inches. So 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 625. So we want 312. And that's about where it's going to be. Let's see what that's going to look like. There's that part. There's that part. We're shy by about 20 or 30 thousandths, which is not even that, maybe 10 thousandths. But that gives us a place to begin with. Now, oh, we want to tighten this up before we forget. Ugh. Oh, and I need to figure out what my, position is with the plate. Let's go ahead and it's really a rough out position because this is just a hole for the cable to slip through, and the cable is 3/4, and this thing's going to be about, 2 inches. So we just want to get to a general place here. That should do the trick. And if we slid it a little bit more this way, just a tad back. That's about right. Tighten it up, check it one more time, make sure. That looks good. Alright, so now what we have to do is raise this table back up. This is one of those times where I wished I had one of those power raisers, but I don't, and one day I'm going to get one. I'll be back. Okay, we got the table up and somewhat in place where we think we need it. Now I've marked the center line, and so we're just going to bring our pointer right over to the center. And again, this is not a super accurate layout here. And that should be plenty. We're going to take our pointer out and the collet. Go find ourselves a bit. Okay, let's go for the true test here, which is, will the bolts bolt up? And I'm almost certain they're going to, but you can never tell. Okay, they're not gonna. Oh, there we go. Okay, we got them in. That one, I guess I didn't tap it deep enough, and so we'll either run the tap in there and see if it bottoms out, or we'll just cut the bolt off a little bit. I mean, we've got 12 bolts here, heavy-duty bolts, so I think we're in good shape. I see that the heads are just sitting above the surface a little bit, and this plate is going to go against a much bigger plate, so I'm probably going to want to, you know, draw these heads down underneath the surface of the plate, so that, you know, we can carry that once we pull it back apart. Once we pull it apart, I'm going to go ahead and go in and radius these corners so that it's nice and smooth. You see that I radius the corners back in here, and it just, you know, it kind of gives it a nice finish, and it also, nobody cuts themselves, and that's an important piece here, because this is a heavy piece and it's going to be hard to handle, and last thing we want is somebody having to be ginger with it. So for today, this is it, and we will see you tomorrow.